watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. There's so much they hold, and just like the old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How bold is your soul? I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even come to the earth, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you are my friend. And yes, we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without our world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not and who I am. And I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, still looking up. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Hello and welcome to our Sunday service meditation. In this meditation, you will connect with yourself in a peaceful way in order to relax and prepare for the Sunday service. Just take a moment to get comfortable. Release any tension that you might be holding on to. And become aware of your breathing. Consciously breathe in and out. It is safe to block off any distractions and claim that space for yourself. you, presence, and love. Now I invite you to connect with your heart. And as you connect with your heart, see if there is any unhealthy habit in your life that is coming up for healing. It might be an addiction. It might be an unhealthy pattern. You could be addicted to an activity, a substance, even a relationship. An addiction is when God is being replaced by that addiction. There's something that we receive from engaging with an addiction. And there's also a cost to pay. And in the long run, the cost is too high. See how this might be true for the unhealthy habit that was coming up for you. There's a way for you to receive the benefit while still fully releasing the cost. There's a healthy way, or a healthier way, to still receive the benefit. And when you are ready, you can set that intention within to choose that for yourself. A healthy way to receive that benefit, be it love or attention, acknowledgement, or peace. Invite God to show you the path for you to heal this pattern. Develop an inner resolve to heal this pattern and receive God's strength now to resolve this completely. Imagine your life free from addiction. Have compassion in this process and forgive yourself and everyone involved that this has occurred. And remember that you are a divine child of the Most High. Now ground all of that in, receive that. And enjoy the rest of our Sunday service.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy and welcome to today's card reading for the Sunday service. And I pulled a few cards from the Power of Surrender deck from Judith Orloff. And it's perfect for the topic of addiction today because a few cards came out which we can now choose to let go of these kind of addictions And the first one is surrender unhealthy relationships. Yeah, that's a big one. And he even like has a knife in his hand and is burning hard. He looks a bit sad and depressed. And it's like where we all experience the most hurt is in relationships, and we are all healing from that. And it says, let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. Oh yeah. Like God wants for you like to keep the harmony within yourself, right? To have harmony with your twin flame especially. And also in other relationships, we have to cultivate this harmony within ourselves first and to not allow others to take our peace away, right? It's safe to set boundaries. And I remember also Jeff and Shaleia shared in the Dreams Coming True e-course, chapter 11, about divine relationships, that a divine relationship, like how it should be, is like that you can be your whole complete self, your divine self, and you are appreciated for that, and vice versa. And you feel safe and respected, and that you can grow there, and you feel really, really supported. And we all experience that here in the community, and I'm also so grateful for that. To learn what healthy relationships are, right? And to let go of anybody like who tries to blame you, or it's safe to say no to that, right? You don't owe somebody something, because everybody has to cultivate their own relationship with God. It's the only relationship we have. And the next card is surrender your attachment to results. The formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen and then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Yeah, it's so true. It comes like to surrender, right? Like to the deck. It's really like we just stand in our own way when we expect things to happen like our way. It comes to control, what will be the next card. Right? All we can do is to make a choice, because the desire comes from God, and then let God do his job, right? To really trust him, that he will also guide you, of course, like to do action steps to manifest like your goals and desires, but also to let him do his job, right? Letting go of attachments, especially like on the outside, right? To stay within. She looks kind of like into the future, but it's safe to look within, right? To dare you manifest your desires, right? When you focus on this faith and trust and this feeling that it's already yours. And the next one is surrender your desire to control people. Yeah, it's kind of funny with the snake. It's kind of ego, I feel like, tempting us. And it says, being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Yeah, space is what I feel. And it also comes to controlling ourselves, right? I also got aware and get still aware of patterns where I was controlling myself and still am. And of course, like my coach sees all my blind spots and helps me with that. And yes, sometimes we were also so trained like to fit in or to please other people, where we kind of get like a habit or an addiction. But to allow God through you, right? You are divine. You are safe to be yourself. And especially here, we're learning that we are loved unconditionally by God in this community and by the teachings of union. So what I feel is like control stems from a lack of trust, like that the fear that your desires would not come true. And so again, like to choose faith in God, to go out of your own way, make the choice, and then God can bring in miracles and surprise you. And the last card with the addiction is surrender worry. That's also a very common one. Never something good came out of worrying, right? Never ever. So it's safe to let that go. And what I also feel is like, for example, with your children or also in relationships, it helps a person more, instead of worrying about them, to believe in them, right? Otherwise, you communicate that you don't trust them, or that they don't believe in themselves. And so we everybody have God within us, who can do everything. And so it's always safe to believe in yourself and also in others, that they are powerful like you. We are all powerful children of God, and we are that powerful that we manifest our fears. And so it's safe to just focus on God and what you desire, and to not leak your energy with worrying, but to focus only on that what you really desire, right? And I also feel like with the swing that is on the card, right, to really choose peace. And I will read the text. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. Yeah, God is guiding you always. So just focus on God and what God is communicating, and also let go of like being in the mind the whole time, right? Is also what I feel is helping to let go of that addiction to stay always, like Jeff and Shaleia do already, and what we're all learning, to be 100% connected with your heart and with your feelings the whole time, and let God guide you there, because ego cannot come in there, and every addiction is just a replacement for God, like where kind of ego tries to tempt you, right, to replace God with something on the outside. But yeah, let's choose God and faith and trust. And I wish you a beautiful Sunday. And maybe we'll see each other soon, like in the after church tea time. I would love to. Take care and bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisi, and I'm deeply honored to be introducing today's sermon on the topic of addiction. The topic of addiction is very near and dear to my heart, and those of you that know me have heard me talk about how much the teachings of union have helped my union to heal from very deep addiction. And I'm just very deeply grateful and honored to be able to talk to you about it today. To start off, I'd like to introduce addiction. And the best definition of addiction I've found, and I've done a lot of research because this has touched my life for a long time, but the definition that Jeff and Shaleia give in one of their sermons on addiction, an addiction is where you are dependent on something to give you something else. You can define God as that, but usually it's something outside of you, an activity or substance that you can replace God with. So it's anything that you can replace God with. And when I first kind of explored addiction, it was because my partner, my twin flame, had a relationship with substances that weren't healthy, that would use the substances to try to get closer to God, or try to work through something, but it was an unhealthy relationship with it because it had negative side effects that impacted his life and my life. And a lot of times before I really understood what addiction was, I would blame myself for it. I would try to control it. I would give him a lot of ultimatums. Those never worked. Ultimatums don't usually work. I had done a lot of research. I participated in some 12-step groups that supported those who were family members, friends, and partners of people who had substance abuse issues. And I learned from those groups that there are 3 options for someone who was going through substance abuse. It was either rehab, jail, or death. And when I learned that, I just said to myself, there's got to be a different way. And so when I listened to Jeff and Shaleia's sermon on addiction, I learned there is a different way. And I found I started to implement those ways. And I also, through the teachings of union, realized that my partner, my twin flame's addiction to substances was mirroring to me something that I was addicted to. And here's something that Shaleia says in the sermon on addiction, is that people are addicted to, first and foremost, the most common addiction is to relationships, to people, right? Melody Beattie wrote a book called Codependent No More. And in this book, she talks about all the different ways that you can be addicted to people, from codependent patterns of neediness to denial to, not looking at something, to avoidance, right? Avoidance patterns, control patterns. And I had a lot of those with my partner and with other people. And so I set about actually looking at myself and letting go of the story of my twin flames addiction and looking at my addiction. What am I replacing God with in my life? And I found a lot of it had to do with, associated with trauma from childhood. And so as I went through the mind alignment process, I unhooked some of these places that were still upset and hurt from traumas I experienced as a child. But even beyond that, I had to look at my behavior and what I was really up to, and how I tried to control and I tried to make something happen a certain way through different behaviors that were unconscious, but yet I was able to bring them to light and see them and then make new choices there. What Jeff and Shaleia share in their sermon on addiction is very true in my experience. I'll talk about my relationship with food. I noticed that I had some patterns with that, where I was using food to comfort myself when I wasn't feeling, peaceful. And I knew how to do the mirror exercise, but these are places where I had done this my whole life, and I just didn't see that I was doing it until I just started having a look. And, with the help of my coaches, looking and seeing, like, what was I really up to? What am I doing this for? Do I really want this cookie? Like, what are the implications of having this cookie? Like, it tastes good, but I'm going to pay for it later. It's going to make my stomach hurt. It's going to make me maybe gain weight. Someone said you can gain up to 9 pounds a year by just eating an extra apple a day, like on top of what you normally eat, right? So your body is so sensitive, and I was being very numbed out to what I was putting inside of my body and why. That's the big question, is like, what is this for? And so once I started exploring that, I started seeing all of these places where I was trying to get approval from people or trying to get comfort from food, places that I was addicted. And then what I learned from Jeff and Shaleia is that, like I said, to resolve an addiction, it's not through all or nothing methods, or you don't control the control, right? Like you have to take steps to heal it with love. And all of their messaging, everything that Jeff and Shaleia teach, is all about permanent healing that's done through love. And an example they use is, having a person stop smoking cigarettes, but maybe switching to vaping for a bit, and doing it in a compassionate way, because nothing's going to stick if you kind of shock your system or force yourself to let go of a habit. I mean, and there are times when letting go of something cold turkey is probably the right thing to do at a certain moment, but in my experience, healing my own addiction to people and to food, and seeing addiction play out in my beloved's life, what I see working is more about replacing that thing with something else, something better. And a huge component of healing addiction for myself and for my twin flame has been purpose. The reason that I was reaching for comfort outside of me, reaching for approval outside of me, is because I wasn't able to give that to myself. But I realized that learning how to move towards my purpose in supporting other people, through working my life purpose, through having a purpose in the church, volunteering, gave my life meaning. And that meaning, it really took care of those needs that I was reaching outside of me for. What I noticed with my twin flame is that he started to have relationships with people in the church. He started playing video games with people in the church and started looking forward to those every week. It was replacing this need to reach for a substance to fill a void. The void was, the choice has been made to heal this, and the void is starting to shift. The feelings are starting to become, self-given, and that allows a healthier choice to be made for everybody. Playing gaming is really a healthy way to relate to people, because you can't be codependent in a game where there's rules and structure and everything. So that's one replacement that both of us have really benefited with. And I could go on and on. I'm very passionate about this topic, but I do want to introduce today's ministers of union, Jason and Chrissy. And as you watch the sermon, please feel in your heart the gift that they're giving to you. This is cutting edge, monumental, different than maybe something that you've heard before on addiction. And if you feel called, visit unionism.org and consider donating or tithing to the church, so that the church can continue to bring you this cutting edge spiritual messaging that is filled with love, that is designed to support you through your eternal life here on earth. Here are Jason and Chrissy.
Welcome, everyone, to another Church of Union Sunday service. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
We're Jason and Chrissy, and we are your executive minister of Union for today's service. Let's begin with our 3 opening ohms, followed by our opening prayer. You can all take a deep breath in and join us out loud or mentally. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, amen. So, Chrissy.
Hi, babe. Hi, everyone.
What will we be talking about today?
Today, we actually want to discuss with you on the topic of addiction. What is addiction? How does it start? What purpose does it have in your life or the life of a loved one? How do you identify it? And really, what you can do to begin the road of recovery. Yeah.
Interesting topic.
Yeah, I think it's really important to address it and really just talk about it. I think there are many people who have a lot of unhealthy habits and patterns in their life, and a lot of them might stem from an addiction.
Sure.
And it could be anything. It could be what we all know addiction to be.
Right. I think like the most like when you think of addiction, you think of maybe drugs or alcohol or something like that. But that's not the only kind of addiction, right?
Right.
Like relationships or
Social media.
Social media.
Huge one.
Sure. Like some like very unhealthy patterns people could be addicted to. So there's big array of things that don't just involve like illegal or illicit substances, right?
Right. And so, like, first, let's just get clear on what addiction is. And for for the sermon today, we really studied a couple different resources, and I always like to provide those. We reviewed Jeff and Shaleia's sermon on addiction, and we also brought in a lot of quips from Life Purpose Class 14, Follow Your Bliss. It's a really good one. So those are areas, if you're interested in going deeper in this topic, those are some resources you can check out. So first, what is an addiction? An addiction essentially is where you are dependent on something to give you something else. Okay. You can look at, essentially it's you can look at it as God as an addiction, but routinely and usually addiction is considered something outside of you, an activity or a thing or substance that you replace with God, right? You're finding some kind of comfort from it in some way. And that's where we want to look. That's where we want to get clear on what's actually going on.
Yeah, I remember like I smoked cigarettes. Like I started smoking cigarettes in high school. It was very common back then. Like it was like I think everybody smoked. There
In the
was
90s?
in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think everyone did, but a lot of people
well,
did.
a
Yeah.
lot of people. There's like cigarette commercials left and right, and billboards, and they made it
Oh,
look
wow, yeah.
sexy and whatever.
It's like the
and
cool thing to do.
you were
Yeah.
cool. I think like the group of kids in school and in a high school that I hung around with, like smoked into, I guess, to fit in. And my the autism in me like wanted to fit in, and so like smoking was something to do that. I wasn't pressured into smoking, I don't think, but it was a way to fit in. And interestingly enough, like I could go like very like long periods and stretches like without smoking. Like I didn't have like any kind of what seemed to be an addiction to it, like that a dependency on it. But like there was certain times where it did fill like a particular uh void for me, like when I was super anxious or under a lot of pressure. That's when the addiction would kick in for me, and that's when like that dependency would be very prevalent. And interestingly, because I think like some people just get into the habit of like doing something, and it's just like a routine. So
Right.
like a very bad habit, right? And like other people like myself like tend to fill um that space with like it was like comforting to me. It comforted me in like very anxious times, which there were a lot of because I was autistic. I didn't know.
Right.
And that was a very comforting thing, I think.
Yeah, like that's really interesting how you describe the relationship, because this is a core component that I loved in a lesson from Jeff and Shalea's discussions on addiction, is that it's not the thing that you're addicted to, it's that there's a problem, right? So the thing is not the problem, whatever it is, whatever vice you're using, right? It's your relationship with that needs to be addressed. And then when you address the relationship or the reason that it's happening, the problem, the thing will go away, or you'll have an opening to no longer do it. So for example, what you just explained, like it was anxiety was the problem. It was not being able to regulate your emotions or deal with your feelings that was ultimately the problem for you. So you reach for cigarettes to numb out.
Sure.
Right. And so like when you address the problem and you heal it at the core, you no longer need the thing that you're utilizing for comfort. You could switch that out. And this is something we do with a lot of people in the mind alignment process, specifically the health and wellness program, but also the trauma healing program that we have. And that's where I experienced this first, my experience with letting go of addiction too. So for me, I was, for the same reason, very high stress job, had a lot of trauma going on, a lot of anxiety, a huge operational, like a very fast operational tempo at work. I self-medicated with alcohol for very similar to an extreme degree. Like for me, I was drinking a lot. Specifically, it heightened the most. I think in Italy, but I was drinking at least a bottle of wine a night, if not more, and that's a lot. And I was, going to bed exhausted, just trying to shut my mind off, and then waking up, peeling myself out of bed, doing it again. Spending the entire weekends recovering or drinking more, and it was really unhealthy because I wasn't actually dealing with the problem. And so when I had my mind alignment process session, I didn't even realize this, but as I started to heal, as I chose to deal with what was going on within me and heal it and have a different relationship with myself within, I had a profound shift in this area, and I didn't even realize I stopped drinking. I realized months later when I brought a bunch of wine home from a winery that every like wine rack I had was full because I had actually stopped drinking alcohol, but I didn't realize it, and I kept buying alcohol like I was drinking it. So like I handled one portion of it, but didn't realize until I walked in, and it's kind of emotional for me, but I walked in with some cases of wine from a wine trip, and I had nowhere to stack them. And I fell to my knees, and I just cried and wept because my relationship with alcohol had completely shifted. And I really didn't realize it because of how happy I felt and how much peace I felt in my heart, and how that relationship completely shifted for me without even really realizing it. It was pretty profound. And so you do have options here in regards to moving through these things, and know that you're not alone, that many people struggle with addiction. Regardless of what's going on, it doesn't make you a bad person just because you have a bad habit. So I would really recommend letting go of judgment and releasing, anything that's holding you back from really looking at it and identifying how you can move forward in addressing it.
Right. Because ultimately, like, you require something in that place that you're reaching
Mhm.
for the addictive thing, and uh, mostly it's just like your own love, right? Like something
Yeah.
that's very easy and free to give to yourself, and that's yeah, it's very interesting because like just such a simple thing that can like completely satiate you there and satiate someone in that place where like they're reaching for something that's probably in a lot of cases very harmful
Mhm.
to the individual. So
Yeah, we all know it feels bad. Like there's two core components going on, right? You're feeling you're getting something from it. You're getting some kind of comfort from whatever it is you're doing. Even if it's social media at night where you're just sitting there and you're like scrolling over and over and over again. You're spending hours, watching cat videos or like,
or
TikTok
even
or whatever it
yeah,
might
or
be.
even just like comparing your life to someone else's, or comparing yourself to someone
Oh
else
yeah.
on social media. It's like very unhealthy, especially for younger people nowadays, where like
Mhm.
uh, they wind up um, very depressed, or even worse, like because they're constantly like looking at social media and saying like, why isn't my life like this? Like why can't I have these things, or whatever, right? So it's like
Mhm.
uh, could become a destructive habit as well.
Yeah, and so some things that you can do if you are experiencing this. First, have compassion for yourself as you move through it, and always reach out for help if you need help. There are many different ways in which you can do that. For us, the mind alignment process is one of the places that we personally feel is one of the best places to receive support. And so you can go to mindalignmentprocess.org if you're interested in the health and wellness program there. But what we can do is just get really clear. The first thing you want to do is get really clear that you might have a problem and admit that. That's a very common thing to do, and saying, hey, I have this habit that I don't like, right? I like the thing that I'm getting from it, but I don't actually like the side effects of it. There's something that I'm getting from it. What is that thing, right? Get really, really clear. For example, I feel stressed. I can't turn off my mind, so I'm gonna drink alcohol, and it's going to help me do that. But I don't like the hangovers about alcohol. I don't like the dry skin of alcohol. I don't like anything else associated with the drinking. I just like this component of it. So you want to identify what you're actually receiving from your behavior that you do like, or that you identify as a perceived secondary benefit of the behavior, right? And then you want to go through the process and see what you can do to provide that to you, to yourself, without the thing that's going on, right? For example, another one to work on or look at is social media. If you're finding yourself just going through social media and procrastinating on the things you need to do, or that you know you have on your plate to do because you're getting something from that time. What are you getting from that? Is it time to yourself? So you love the time to yourself, but then you realize you feel like waterlogged in your mind because you've overloaded your mind with social media, and now you have to decompress from that as well. What is it that you're getting? Ask yourself those questions. Really sit and reflect on what's going on there and what relationship you're having with the behavior that you'd like to stop. Yeah. And then once you get clear, start making choices that align into supporting you into the relationship you do want. Find different ways to support yourself and calming yourself down, maybe some self care techniques. And of course, don't judge yourself. Just always have compassion for yourself as you're moving through it, and seek support as needed to help guide you through it. Because sometimes we just need a coach or a guide to support us through these things. I mean, I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so before we move on to the next portion of the sermon, babe, how are you feeling there? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just to what you just said, like that's probably why a lot of the the Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or things like that, you
Mhm.
get a buddy, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, you get a
you
sponsor or a buddy.
yeah, sponsor.
Yeah.
Because if you just need someone to talk to, or like that's a great way to, or talk someone off the ledge, or just a friend or
Yeah,
someone that's supportive. And we have a lot of that around here with coaches and
absolutely.
just overall good people that are willing to, chat and help out.
Mhm. That's sweet. Yeah, I love this community. Yeah, so the next thing we want to talk about in regards to this is, like healing and moving into happiness. Healing is the way into your happiness. Healing whatever's going on with you in the relationship you're having with addiction or the bad habit that you are experiencing. The healing is desired there. Healing is being called there. The entire point of life is to be happy, right? Once you get that cool car, or you get that cool house, or you get this or that, if you're not happy, if you're genuinely not happy in your life, you're going to remain unhappy, right? If you're not happy right now, if you're not finding happiness right now in your life, then look at what's going on and choose to move into healing to expand your happiness, right? A lot of people think that finances are like, if they have enough money, for example, they have all the money in the world, they'll be happy. One quip from my purpose class that I absolutely love is, money can only solve money problems. It can't necessarily solve all your other issues going on. And you would probably be very surprised about how many issues you have going on in your life or you're experiencing that aren't actually directly related to money, right? And so something that I really love here that, we can take a little lesson from some of the greats in regards to this is looking at some of the greats that have fallen to drugs and addiction over the years and how they were just incredibly unhappy. So you can look at, Michael Jackson, Elvis, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Dax Shepard, and see that, they had all the money in the world. They were revered. People loved them. They were absolutely beloved. And every single one of them was dealing with some kind of an addiction. And they were massively unhappy in their lives. And money wasn't the problem, right? No.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm finding it hard to put like Michael Jackson, Elvis, and Dax Shepard in the same grouping, but sure.
Well, I know we're gonna do. It's a good point, but I know we're gonna talk about Dax Shepard, so I threw him in there because
Okay.
But I agree, he's not Elvis. I'm sorry, Dax. But like keeping it real. But yeah, well, why don't we talk about his story because he's very open about this very key topic, like because he experienced both ends, and his life is an absolute testament to the truth that like you can't buy happiness, and like your pain and suffering will follow you, and that it must be actually dealt with. I found his story very profound, as it really is a case study that, in my opinion, like backs this lesson from Jeff and Shaleia pretty profoundly. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, what were we listening to, a podcast or something like that,
Hmm.
about his addiction struggles, and it it was kind of like the um he said, you can be on like all of these substances, right, and think that you've hit rock bottom, and or like hit rock bottom, have a situation or series of events that like denote, hey, this is rock bottom. But unless that kind of sparks in your own mind, then it 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 doesn't, it doesn't like kind of, it doesn't like jog anything. It doesn't like
Mm.
wake someone up until they have a situation that like um really really like brings that into their awareness. So there, it's just like the way he explained it was like um just a series of rock bottoms until one day, like whatever that one thing was, kind of made him open his eyes and say like, I can either change here and stop doing the things I'm doing, or continue down the road. And then at that point, what's down that road, right?
Hmm.
Where that road leads, and um, these experiences just kind of like are like a wake up call. But like you have to open your eyes to those wake up calls in order to use them to your advantage, and make a change in life.
Yeah, he moved from, just a normal kid growing up in a middle income, lower income home to having millions of dollars, and found himself hiding out in an airport hoping no one would see him because his body was in so much pain from all the drugs he was on, right? And he was in such a dire strait, and he turned and looked into a mirror and was like, this needs to change. Like there's something fundamentally wrong here that needs addressed. And everyone's journey is unique. Everyone's journey to recovery is unique. What's critical is that you find the way that fits you the best, and you move towards it, and you choose to heal. And you never quit on that. You never quit on yourself. You never quit on your recovery, and you choose it every day with whatever's going on within you, to heal and to do better. Have compassion with yourself as you move through it. Yeah, remember, a lesson from A Course in Miracles is that the root of all healing is in the mind. That like any upset you're having, with your body, with with anxiety, with whatever's going on within you, your circumstance, it's psychological, right? And so like it's important to realize that if you focus on that, and you focus on healing your mind and healing what's going on within your minds, everything else will follow, everything else will align as you address it. And really like you want to ask yourself, again, why am I doing it? What am I getting from it? And reflect on that. Reflect on how you feel in your mind, and choose health, choose your wellness,
Choose your strength.
choose your strength. Yeah. Claim your power and ask for help. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately like, it takes strength to like
Mhm.
I think make any change, to any varying degree. It's like you have to really stand up for yourself, and make a choice.
Yeah. You have the power. Even if you feel powerless, you're not. You have the power to change. And all it takes is a simple choice to do so. And you can do it.
Good.
Good. We'd like to invite you into our closing prayer and alms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
Now, please join us. Take a deep breath in. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful sermon by Jason and Chrissy and learned a lot. I certainly did. Every time I watch a sermon from the Church of Union, I go deeper into a more profound understanding of truth. And it just feels really good. It's not scary to face some challenges that are a lot of people in the world are facing. And now, you feel less alone in what you're going through. You can find all of the past sermons from the Church of Union here on the Church of Union YouTube channel or by visiting unionism.org. You can also donate or tithe to the Church of Union so that the Church of Union can continue to promote its healing message throughout the whole world. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And stick around because we got more for you. Come visit us in the after church tea time over at the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Facebook group. So head on over there. We've got links that are being posted here. I would love to see you there. Make sure that you come with your questions, which you can ask in the comments for those who are discussing today's sermon, and go deeper with us. Thank you and have a very beautiful day. Bye-bye.